The U.S. Department of Agriculture has eliminated over $1 billion in funding that helped bring local food to schools and food banks. The move, part of broader federal spending reduction, could impact millions of students and families nationwide. The Local Food for School Cooperative Agreement Program, LFS program, which allocates approximately $660 million for schools and child care centers to purchase food from local farms, has been cut for 2025. Additionally, the USDA has discontinued the Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement Program, which provided $500 million to food banks. The USDA announced funding for the affected programs last year. States were informed last week that the agreement would be terminated following a 60-day notification period. The impact of these cuts will vary by state depending on their reliance on the LFS program. States that had integrated these funds into their operational plans for school meals programs and food banks will face significant challenges. According to the USDA, the following states have signed with the USDA on the Local Food for School Cooperative Agreement Programs: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming.
That's a hell of a list.
Yep. And see, people, these are the programs. So basically, the programs that give kids free school lunches, that's what this is. The programs that actually give funding to your food banks and deliver food to the food banks, that's what that is. So children are going to starve. Already people that are down and out, and the food banks, what a lot of people rely on. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this because this happened a couple days ago, and we're reporting on it today. This all could have been avoided. You know, not even from the last election. Let's talk about this, folks. How long have you been down and out? How long have you known somebody that's been down and out? How long have wages been low? We've been through Democrats, Republicans, right? And all they do is squeeze and squeeze us. That's all they do, to the point where you have to work 40 plus hours a week and still be on state assistance. They could have been helped us. Both sides could have done it, but they didn't. They didn't. And we let it happen. We had time during COVID where we could have started a general strike and shut all this shit down.
Let me step in right there. I disagree with what he's saying, but I understand what he's saying, though, because I've seen it. We've all watched it. But I do watch policy. I watch policy and I watch what happens. I mean, even under Biden, middle class, basically for middle class revenue went up under Biden. We look at, where do jobs kind of tend to always go up under Democratic presidencies. When people have jobs, people have prosperity, they can gain things in life. You're not seeing that under Republicans. You see job loss, you see recessions, you see drop off under Republican leadership consistently. So to me, give yourself a little. If we had like a 12-year, 16-year run of people who we held accountable, because you got to hold people accountable. You can't just sit back and let people just, kind of skate by and think that they're going to be getting elected every single time. However, getting back to this main core, fact, they're cutting $1 billion out of food programs for kids. I mean, and I don't understand how we're not outraged by that. These are for kids who go to school. This is for people at food banks. This is the poorest among us. This is not always the poorest among us. Sometimes it's people who have jobs who just cannot, rent's too high. Week. Things happen. They said that 70% or more of Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank account, don't have $500 or whatever in their bank account. This is a lot. That's a lot of people. One problem: car breaks down, anything happens,
you get a red light ticket.
I mean, you're sitting here, you're cooked. A medical bill, anything. So we're not looking at this. This guy's coming out here basically cutting programs for people who need them, just like Elon Musk said. Empathy is basically the biggest problem of Western civilization. When he speaks about Western civilization, he speaks about European civilization, which is Europeans are all over there. Here in America, they're in Canada, they're in Australia, but that's what he's trying to say, that basically their empathy for themselves, really, because most of you guys are the ones who are on these public assistance programs, but for anyone who are poor is the problem. He's basically saying that we should have kept smashing as hard as we could, but that wasn't really the truth. The truth of the matter is people start rising up against you. and it's the end of this whole entire civilization, end of this whole entire way of life is the real true core. But now, before the end of this thing, what they're basically going to try and do is suck the life out of whatever's left over. They're trying to take every last dime from the people who are here. Hold up. Let's cut all the programs to the people. Let's give it all to the wealthy. That's pretty much what they're saying.
Yep. It's crazy. Y'all voted to make sure illegal immigrants couldn't steal your jobs. And now a couple of them are taking everything from you. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave you with that. This is Uncommon Courtesy. Until next time.